We're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about the anti-syrup, anti-honey syrup. It's Dad called me after I made a post about the anti-syrup, and he's in the chat right now. He was like, it's not anti-honey syrup. It's actually blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's got all the anti. Mom will explain what I mean by the anti-honey in a second here. But she'll be showing that today in the preparation that we're going to be going through. And I just wanted to start out by saying thank you guys for being here and showing support. We will be, I saw Dad in the chat. I was pulling him up on the comments. There he is saying hi. Smells like garlic in here. I just wanted to share something exciting going on. I'm just going to pull up my screen here. So the bee pun contest that we have going on, I'm going to be updating it right now live. We're just going to be extending that by 1 week to next week at the same time. Done. There we go. I'll make another post about it being extended, but we have a little bit more time. Website's not quite ready, and we're going to have some more candles available. So we'll have a little bit of a bigger selection for you guys to choose from. So we're just sorting through the logistics on that. And then we'll have candles to give away with the launch of our candle site. So for now, you have time to go share your best bee pun in the community in the comments down here. You can share as many entries as you'd like. Go get creative. I'll show you some in a second here. And if someone you invite to the community wins, then you also win as well. So there's a chance for a couple people, more than one person to be getting a prize here. So you can see Steven's been going crazy, giving us a lot of awesome ones. I know we had Matt posted a few in a row. Ryan got himself involved. And then Hegama, we met her just a few days ago. She joined the community and then she went crazy and added a whole bunch. So there's a fierce competition. You guys will be selecting the winners as well. So go ahead, get as many entries as you like. Go invite your friends, get them to make as many entries as they like, and get some free candles, which we'll be showing you next week and voting on next week. So tune in for that as well. Anyway, Mom has the anti-honey cough syrup available for us now, and she'll be showing us all about that. If you have any questions, put them in the chat, and I will pull them up for her at the very end. There's Jazz, anti-honey cough syrup. How exciting. So there you go, Mom. Take it away, and we'll see you at the end.
Okay, so to start off with, that was just Patrice with a play on words. There's nothing anti-honey about this. It's pro-honey. Honey is awesome. Honey is so awesome that it's actually, like Patrice said, full of anti things. So it's got antioxidants in it to counteract free radicals in your environment. It's antibiotic, antibacterial, antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory. So honey is awesome. Not only raw honey, not when it's pasteurized, is awesome for consuming and healing you internally, as well as putting on your exterior of your body and healing wounds and stretch marks and anything like that because of the anti properties that it does have. So it's actually an immune booster is what the title could have simply been an immune booster syrup. So I've tweaked it the few times that I've made it. I hate raw onion, and there is raw onion in this. So when I consume it, it's a little powerful on the raw onion, but I still stuck to the amount that is good for you to help you. And just to know how well this works is when I went to visit the grandbabies in Patrice just last weekend, or the weekend before, I guess it was already. I came home and I had a scratchy throat the whole traveling home for 5-6 hours. It was just getting worse and worse. And I came in the door and I took a slug of I didn't measure it. I didn't put it in hot water. Didn't do anything like that, like I'm going to suggest to you. I just chugged it straight. So I might have had maybe 2 tablespoons worth. And it was about an hour, I'd say, afterwards. I was just laying in bed and there was just a tickle in my throat, not so much a cough, but just a kind of a tickle. And I kind of went like that, like to clear my throat, not like a outright cough. And a whole bunch of mucus came up. So it had eased my throat the minute I took it from the scratchiness because the honey coated my throat. But then it got to work and it actually caused the phlegm to come up and be released. And I got over my cold right away. So yeah, so it's very, very good for you. So it's a very simple recipe. I'm going to tell you a few other tweaks that you can do to it yourself, depending on what you want. But you're going to need yourself a 12-ounce jar is the original recipe that I found. It's a 12 ounces, which, you know, a 375 ml jar or 500-gram jar, the size. Another name for it is, get rid of it, a pint. A quart is the big one. This is a pint size jar. And then I've already pre-chopped stuff. So we've got some onions, some ginger, and some garlic. Okay, so I'll give you the measurements in a minute here that I used. So first, to get started, we're going to use our jar. We're also going to have a chopstick, and I'll explain to you as we go why you need the chop. Oh, and the other ingredient, the main ingredient, honey. That's what makes it sweet and makes it help you. All this other stuff has healing benefits too, by all means. So it's all awesome for you. So I'm just going to get started here, put my stuff in my jar. I don't have a big enough funnel, so I guess I didn't tell you to use a funnel, but a funnel works to get it in the jar better. And I don't have one that has a big enough. I guess I do. It's over in my canning. I guess I should have taken time to go look in there. I do have one in the canning that would have been better than what I'm using. Okay. I'm just going to get loose. So in the recipe, it says to chop everything. And they're fairly big pieces is what I'm using. Don't know what this is. I think last time I used a 1 kilogram jar, so the quart size jar, and gave myself lots of room, but we're going to try to squish this in. Sure, for the purpose of this video, it worked. Okay, we're going to squish it in there. And my measurements might have been a little off too. Like I made a little bit too much than what's needed. Okay. Okay, so I just have my layered ingredients shoved in that jar. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pour your honey in. So as you're pouring your honey, that's what the chopstick is for, and it's runny honey. Not meaning you have to buy liquid honey from the store where they've added chemicals and pasteurized it. This is raw, natural honey from the farm. I just slightly heated it so that it would be nice and runny and pourable, so that it'll go down into the little. Just going to pour a little bit and then show you why I'm using the chopstick here. Okay. So we have a pretty tight fit in the jar, but even when you're doing canning, the chopstick is good to help get air bubbles out. In this case, I'm trying to push it so that the honey will go, put it this way, the honey will go down towards the bottom. There, see, now it's flowing nice. Stick chopstick in another spot and kind of make a hole and pour some honey. Now, if you do use a bigger jar, that would be perfectly fine. As I use up the cough syrup in here, it ends up getting poured into a smaller jar. So like that's the size I have right now on the way, and then make sure you label it so you know what it is in the fridge. So if you were using a bigger jar, there's going to be a lot of floating. All the ingredients float to the top and the honey goes to the bottom. But I've used really big chunks in this. And right now, I think my honey is, oh no, there's some spots. There's no honey down there. So I'm still going to have some of this float up, but it's pretty packed. But it will float a little bit off the bottom, and that will just be plain honey that's there. But I'm thinking I'm going to go back to, if I do this again, which I will be doing it again, I'll use it in the bigger jar, the 1 kg jar again. That's how I did before. It had lots of head space, lots of room to play with. And then once I scooped out my my chunks, when I strained off my chunks out of here, I was able to pour it into a smaller jar, which probably would have been the 500-gram jar, which I'm using now. A little bit more honey. Okay. I didn't use all the honey that I brought over from the shop, and that's just because the recipe calls for 1 cup, and I put 1.5 cups in there, and I have a 1/2 cup of honey still left in my thing. So it does take exactly the 1 cup to fill this size jar. And I'm pretty sure this is the size jar that they were dealing with. I just think they chopped it a lot smaller, their pieces, and measured it more accurately. I just chop and say, yeah, that's 1/4 cup or 1/2 cup. Okay, so there. So we've got honey right up to the top there, but it's still at the lip. Picture's the wrong way here. It's at the lip. It doesn't look like it because, like I said, the ingredients are higher. So I'm just going to dump this after we're done into a bigger jar to do what I'm going to do. And it doesn't matter if you use more honey, that's perfectly fine because honey is healing and that's what this recipe is about. And yeah, so I'll give you what the ingredients are and then I'll tell you a little bit about some tips here. So when you make this, like we just did, that's actually ready in about 4 hours minimum. For it to have the health benefits. So you would just use your spoon and you would push down on the chunky ingredients and then get your teaspoon of your honey syrup, and then that's what you would consume. So you need the jar, you need 1/2 cup of diced onion. So I used 1 small sized onion, 1/2 cup garlic diced. And so I actually had a really large bulb of garlic. So I put it all in there. So that was a little bit more than 1/2 cup, but that's approximately like a bulb, maybe about that size, is about equals about 1/2 cup. And ginger diced. And so I had, I put the other one away. I had a piece of ginger root. It was kind of weird shape, but it was fat and chubby and medium size, about that size. And that made 1/2 cup. And then 1 cup honey. So 1/2 cup onion, 1/2 cup garlic, 1/2 cup ginger, and the honey. And the chopstick is to help to get the honey into the ingredients. And like I said, about 1/2 inch from the top. So I'm watching that and it's floating. And yeah, I definitely have to get it in a bigger jar. So that's not the right size jar. So other little tweaks to this with a bigger jar, obviously, you could also put like 1/2 lemon thinly sliced in it. I've done that before. You can also chop up turmeric, and I didn't have any today, but turmeric has healing benefits, and I had to put 1/4 cup of turmeric in it before. And then quite a few of these recipes, when you find them, they say a splash of vanilla or like adding vanilla. So I have down 1 tablespoon vanilla is what I used in a previous batch, and I liked it. It gave it a nice taste. But like I said, the raw onion is a powerful taste that I don't like, but it's good for you. And so it 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 tastes good. It's a good cough syrup, but the raw onion part is just myself. I don't like the raw onion. So yeah, so I told you you can push down, you can do it 2 ways. You can either leave the chunks in your honey mixture, you can use a spoon to push down and just scoop out your 1 teaspoon and take that daily to heal or to prevent problems. A suggestion is you can add that teaspoon to boiled water and squeezed lemon. So instead of adding lemon slices into this, you could just have hot water with lemon and add this mixture in this cough syrup method, immune booster cough syrup method mixture into your lemon drink, lemon and hot water. So in 4 hours is minimum time, but the best results for this is 10 to 14 days of fermenting in the honey. And then during those 10 to 14 days, every day, you're going to unscrew your lid and let it burp, like let the It's just a fermenting process. So again, you can use a chopstick if you want, or sometimes it's just unscrew your lid and then put it back on, and not tightly on at this part. It's just kind of sitting off to the side on your counter and doing its thing for the 10 to 14 days. And you can also stir it too. Like stir it to get the bubbles out to burp it, or just push the chopstick in the holes. Okay. And then for storage, there's two ways to do it. You can either leave those pieces in the jar, okay, and then store it in your fridge for a maximum of 1 year. Now, your honey, once all the liquids in the garlic and ginger and onion go into your honey, it doesn't ever go hard, the honey. It's very watery. Like there's honey in there. I always go wrong way on these darn pictures here. It's very, very liquidy. I don't know if you can really tell how liquidy that is, but it kind of looks like water. So it's not going to be like a thick honey mixture. And you'll notice that if you strain everything out, the same thing, that it's very runny. And if you don't strain things out, you'll notice the honey at the bottom turns very runny also. So yeah, and then if you strain the pieces out after the 10 to 14 days, you can store it, you can put your lid on and store it in a pantry. I've never done that. I've always just put it straight away in the fridge. But it says you can store it in the pantry indefinitely. Okay. But once it's been opened to actually start consuming it as a cough syrup, then you would have to refrigerate it. Okay. And a suggestion for the strained pieces is don't throw them out. You can blend them all up and make a salad dressing, like incorporate them into a salad dressing, or you can throw them into a stew or into a smoothie or something like that so that there's no waste at all. Okay. So I told you, like, this is all fresh ingredients that I've used. Now, just another one in case you don't have fresh ingredients at home, but you're in a pickle where you're sick. And so obviously you're sick and don't want to go to the grocery store to buy these fresh ingredients. You might have these things in your cupboard in the spice cabinet, and you can do it that way. So it would be a half cup honey, a half a teaspoon ginger powder, 1 teaspoon turmeric powder, 1 teaspoon vanilla, and half a teaspoon garlic powder. And it would be 1 teaspoon daily to heal or as a preventative of future problems. And again, as an option, adding it to hot lemon water and drinking it. So, and like I said, when I was sick, I just like chugged it. I didn't measure it, nothing. I just drank it out of the thing. And that made it go from, this was about there. And I consumed enough to make it just a little jar. So, yeah. But yeah, so honey is awesome. Like I said, it's full of all those healing ingredients. And then so do these other vegetables, I guess, and herbs have healing benefits. And we can also talk another time about the healing benefits of pollen, about propolis. We don't do propolis on our farm. The bees do. They're making it all the time to seal up their cracks in their home and stuff. It's just we don't collect the propolis and purify it and sell it. We do have pollen, and pollen actually have some on the table here. We do have pollen. So what I was thinking, and I had discussed with Patrice, is maybe in the summer doing a smoothie, a fruit smoothie, and adding the pollen into it like I usually do, and finding a recipe. I mean, you can do anything in a blender to make a smoothie of your own preference, but I do have a recipe that specifically has pollen in it in a cookbook that I was very happy to see that it had that. I don't know if that recipe, though, had honey. There are lots of smoothies out there, too, that will add honey. So I'll have to check and see if that smoothie had honey and pollen, but we'll do that one, I think, in the summer as a nice summer cold beverage treat on a hot day when we're beekeeping. But yeah, so I know that this honey immune booster is kind of late in the season. I mean, we're going into spring, but it is good for all kinds of ailments, not just a sore throat and a cough. So hopefully you make a jar and try it out and see if it gives you any health benefits at all that you notice on improving your illness at the time. And if there's any questions, feel free to ask them.
So we did have some questions. I'm just going to pull it up if you can see it on the screen. Just if you want to just quickly refresh a reminder, run through these. Jazz was asking about anti-honey syrup. If you want to remind us what the anti is.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's a long list. So yeah, if you Google it, for example, you'll probably find these and even more. Like honey has so many healing qualities in it, but it's antioxidants, microbial, antibiotic, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory. So for a cough, that's kind of what's happening is your throat is like it helps because it's an anti-inflammatory. Yeah. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 antis.
No, it's five. Count five. Dad was in the chat saying his sinuses are cleared up because of the garlic.
In the other room, just breathing it and chopping it up in the kitchen.
Jazz was excited to see the chopstick.
Covered in honey.
And Dad was answering this. I believe this is Heather asking, would heating the honey before help with absorbing the garlic?
Well, if you have a creamed honey in there, for example, you don't need creamed honey because creamed honey, you're paying for a process of getting it creamed and smooth and textured. And it's just going to melt. Creamed honey will do exactly the same thing. It will turn runny like this. It's just like putting creamed honey in a glass of tea or coffee in a hot beverage. It will go runny. So you don't need to use creamed honey. And even if you just used honey that wasn't heated, it would do the same thing. I just chose to heat it just so it would run down the nooks and crannies a little bit faster for the video. But I've never actually warmed the honey before to do this. I only did just because of the video to make it faster. And here's an example, actually. See how it's already starting to float? I mean, it's coming out of the top of my lid of my jar here, but see how at the bottom, we already have the vegetables are floating and the honey is at the bottom. Yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yeah. Dad was saying the heat would let things mix better and absorb better, but not super necessary. Room temperature works.
Yeah, and when I'm saying it's not hot, I just put it in a hot water bath on the stove, so it's just warm honey. It's not. We definitely haven't pasteurized it, and we didn't microwave it. When you microwave honey to melt honey, that's bad, bad, bad. You have now killed all the anti. So this is a cough syrup which is anti-microwave. Don't do that to melt your honey. Okay, it kills the health benefits. It's too high of a temperature too quickly, and so you're eating the taste of honey, but not the health benefits of honey when you microwave raw natural honey.
I should have pulled this up. Wow, 5 antis. Love it. And Dad was just saying too, honey has so many properties. Just eating it before bed helps with health. True.
Yeah, if you
Just
have
really
like
quickly. Thank you, Jazz. She said I look cool.
there's actually a hibernation diet where you can take it's a lot of honey. It's like a couple of tablespoons full before bed, and it will help with insomnia and help you sleep. Because honey has natural stuff in it that Dad, do you want to come hop on here and explain the hibernation diet one? So what it is it's complex sugars which are absorbed into your body a lot quicker and easier, or slower rather, than white sugar. But it gives you a lasting boost of energy. So you think, oh, well, you're trying to sleep, so you don't need the energy. But at nighttime, it's boosting your metabolism and it's doing something. I'd have to read the book again, but we did this a long time ago and it actually works. I just forget when I'm, yeah, it feeds your brain while you're sleeping is another thing. Dad's in the other room yelling at me what that is. But anyway, it helps you sleep. So how exactly it scientifically does that, I don't know, but it's
We'll do some research and get back on it.
hibernation. Don't have the book handy.
Jazz was asking how long does the syrup last once it's made and should it be refrigerated?
Okay, so I'll go over that quickly again. Yes, so when you've got the fresh ingredients in it, you definitely want to, if you choose to leave the pieces in it, okay, you want to store it in the fridge. So after 10 to 14 days of myself burping this and playing with it, Then I'm going to store it in the fridge for up to 1 year. If you want to leave the pieces in, like not strain it, then after your 10 to 14 days, you can store it in the pantry indefinitely. But as soon as you open it to make use of it, you're going to have to then put it in your fridge. Okay.
And can this safely be used for kids or just adults?
Probably avoid under the age of 1, just because that is what is out there saying don't give children under the age of 1 honey, just because of botulism, because of their stomachs still developing, which is really funny because I came across some old books the other day about honey, and you're actually supposed to give in this, I don't remember the copyright date of the book, but it was advised to give children, babies, honey, and why, and that it was good for them. So again, it's just whatever the flavor of the, don't eat pork, eat pork. Don't eat eggs. Don't give baby honey, do give baby honey. Yeah, I'm not sure. We weren't beekeeping when the boys were little, but I'm sure that they had honey uh, earlier than them being a year old. So, but if there is cases out there where it did cause botulism for little babies, then be safe and don't. But yes, children can definitely have this. It's sweet because there's honey in it, but it works like a charm. Mhm.
Well, that's what Dad was saying is the diabetic. Gotta watch your sugars because it is sugar.
Yeah, yeah. So there is sugar in it. Dad doesn't take this as often. Well, like he doesn't remember to. He's got 1 or 2 particular medications that he likes to take when he's sick, because his head cold always goes into his chest. So he starts on, and euthanasia is a natural one that he does take, but he's forgets about this one, and he's a beekeeper. But I know it's why is because of the sugar content in it, the honey. So yeah,
Well, and that's
and
what
it,
I was saying.
like you
I'd
can
recommend it.
with honey, so kids will eat their will take their cough syrup, like an over the counter cough syrup. Um, People have done that, like friends of mine have done that before. Again, us being beekeepers and having little children, people would put their cough syrup mixed with honey and then give it to their child so that the child would take their cough syrup. So yeah.
That's Dad was saying. Recommend it for everyone. As soon as you feel anything, keep it refrigerated fresh. Pull it out. Use it when you need it.
Yeah, like when I
Um,
was driving, that's all I was thinking about when my throat was getting scratchier and scratchier was, oh no, I need to get my honey in me as soon as I get home. And that was the first thing I did, is when I was unloading the truck, is I went to the fridge and just grabbed it and took a slug because it coated my throat right away. Having any honey, like we have honey sticks and we keep them in our purse. Well, I keep them in my purse. Dad doesn't, but I keep them in my purse. And then if I'm getting a scratchy throat, usually I've got one to have, and I didn't have any in my purse. So on the way home, I was like, do I stop at a pharmacy somewhere and pick up, a cough syrup? And I was like, no, I'll just wait till I get home. And like I said, it worked like a charm for me. So yeah, but honey of any type when you have a sore throat, just like having plain honey on a teaspoon is good. It helps coat the throat and it has healing benefits to it.
Jazz was just saying thanks for the salad dressing tip.
We don't waste anything. Everything on this farm goes back to the chickens or the cows or the compost heap. But yeah, you can like just puree it, blend it, and then add other ingredients to it and make a homemade salad dressing. So you could start with a recipe book with a salad dressing in, and then just if it has some of these ingredients, and great bonus, and it's got the sweetness of the honey, and so it's good. Like I made it before. It was again strong and powerful because I don't like the raw onion. But yeah, so
And then just the last comment I had from Dad here was for letting Jazz know about the arthritis, getting stung on a regular basis and the arthritis disappearing. I don't know if you wanted to just end on some fun facts about that.
well, that's another thing too, is like with it being an anti-inflammatory, that's what arthritis is. And so honey is awesome for helping with like consuming honey is really good for arthritis also. Sorry, I went derailed there for a minute. You're talking about bee stings, right? Yeah, so it's called apitherapy. And so you can go visit a beekeeper, or if you have a bee that you happen to find, great. The bee can be dead too. The bee could have could be dead, and you could just pinch it to like stick it to you so that the stinger will stab you, so that you're getting the pulsing of the venom. And it helps with wherever your joints, like Dennis, what he's talking about is he would crack he deliberately as a child went like this and cracked his knuckles. And now as an adult, he has really, really sore knuckles, and he just moves his hands and they would crack. But then when he started beekeeping, he loves it because in the summer he's accidentally squishing bees as he's picking out frames, because he doesn't work with any bee equipment on, no veil, no gloves, anything. And so as he's, picking up a frame, there'll accidentally be a bee there and he accidentally squishes it. And that's good because then he's getting his apitherapy in. And it can be anywhere on your hand that, gets stung. For this case, if you have like a sore shoulder, it'd be better to sting in the shoulder, or, if you had a crippled knee, you sting yourself in the knee. And so, yeah, if you want to Google what apitherapy is, it's awesome. Right this time of year in the spring, Dennis is getting antsy to get into the beehives. And that's one of the reasons, is because he's starting to get achy from winter, and he wants to get stung so that he's not creaky as much anymore. So, yeah.
Jazz was just saying thank you, and who wants to sting me?
So yeah, at our farm, we do that for you, with you. But yeah, I would look for a local beekeeper and just ask them. And we would advise, like we do here, is we advise people will put the bee like in a queen cage, a little carrier thing, and have them go to the hospital, so that if they do have a reaction, at least they're sitting at the hospital, and that way they're in safe care. If, and they can report to the desk and say, hey, I'm coming here, I'm just going to sit in a chair, do this, and I just want to be here just in case. But yeah, we've had people do that for after hip replacements to help heal, speed up the recovery. People with their knees. We're trying to convince grandma with her arthritis to start trying it. She does not like being stung by bees. So we're trying to convince her, yeah, but it's dead, so it won't be the same. Yeah. But yeah, so just try to find a local beekeeper, and that's probably who is the best person to work with for that. Yeah.
Well, unless you guys had any more questions, that's all I found from the chat there. I'm just going to pull up my screen one more time to show you guys in the community. I'm just adding, oh, there we go. Extended. Show us your prizes, or show us your puns, win some prizes. I like that. Pun. Show us your pun, win some prizes. I should have had that in there originally. We go to school.com/bees. You'll come to a page that looks like this. Before, you right now is sad. It's raining. You after, we're happy. We be happy together. Bee pun contest going on until April 17th. You're seeing it saved and changed live. Right here, there would be a little join group button. If you're on your phone as well, just really quick and easy to click. All in yellow, all caps, easy to find. Get in there and go to that first pinned comment, and you have until next Thursday, 7 more days, to go and get your bee pun entered in the comments. Again, unlimited entries allowed. And if someone you invite to the community wins, then you win as well. The way to do that once you're inside is there'll be a little button that says invite. You grab that, and that'll add your referral code to it. Or on mobile at the top right-hand corner of your screen, there'll be a little button for settings, or where you can invite members as well. So go ahead, get those puns in. We'll have that website ready for you next Thursday. Get a free candle, and maybe buy some if you don't win, because you will be sad, and you don't want to be sad. You want to be happy, and we can be happy together. We'll see you guys on school.